If you think about all the important things that people or companies do in their lives, there's usually a lawyer involved. So, if you get married, if you buy a house, if you die, all those sorts of things. Whenever there's a big event that happens, you typically have a lawyer to help you with that and help guide you through that. And that's really what we do for our clients, is if there's something big that's happening for them, then we'll help to guide them through it. Within that, there's probably two real categories of lawyers. There's transactional lawyers or facilitative lawyers who very broadly help people to make something happen. And then there's disputes lawyers who tend to help if something's gone a bit wrong. Could be people, could be companies. Sometimes we do work for countries as well. It really sort of depends.
Is there any kind of type of personality who absolutely should not become a lawyer?
I think being reasonably organised and kind of structured in the way that you think and kind of present things is really, really helpful. Quite a lot of the time we're dealing with tricky subjects, and we're speaking to people who perhaps are not sophisticated in those subjects. Sometimes clients might be going through a dispute and they've never been through a dispute before, for example. And so we have to take things that seem quite daunting and quite complicated and kind of put them in a way which makes sense. Or we have to take really technical legal arguments and put them together in a way which makes sense both for the client and for perhaps a judge or someone like that. So I think being organised generally, but also I suppose being organised in your thoughts and the way that you kind of put things together is really helpful.
What makes a good lawyer? And I'm going to ask that through, which aspect of your personality, Al?
Oh God!
If I spoke to Carla,
that's a horrible
what would
question.
she say Al's best aspects of his personality for being a lawyer are, and worst aspects of your personality?
Brilliant. You need to be able to understand the law and apply it. I think is sort of a prerequisite, to be honest. If you can't do that, you're probably not going to get very far. I think more on a kind of personality basis. I think really what differentiates between good lawyers and really great lawyers is people who can be empathetic, people who can put themselves in their client's shoes and understand really what it means to them, to be asking the questions that they're asking.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the kind of the strict legal answer might not be the best one for the client.
Yeah.
And so it's really being able to kind of understand what it is that your client wants that I think really makes a difference.
Do you think you're empathetic?
I try to be.
Such a lawyer answer.
I ask a lot of questions. So even if I'm perhaps not the naturally most empathetic person, it's something that I'm very conscious of. Probably the worst aspects of my personality. Having said that lawyers should be organised, I'm not particularly organised.
It's your desk, it was pretty organised.
Yeah, I definitely didn't tidy that this morning.
Can you think of a colleague who you admire?
Yeah,
and
several.
Which, if you pick one, and what makes you admire them? What are the qualities that, if you like, make that person someone to look up to?
I think my colleagues who kind of know what's going on in my life, they kind of ask questions and they understand that my life doesn't end when I walk out the door.
Right.
And they're probably the best people to work with, really, because you can probably bond with them, but also it gives you, I suppose, a bit of perspective on what it is that you're doing at work, and I think that's really healthy. I also think that tends to make people who really good lawyers, to be honest. Having a bit of perspective and being able to kind of work with those people around you, communicate with them in a natural way, I think is really, really important. I mean, I also really like working with practical people. So, the colleagues I look up to are the people who can really quickly look at a situation and come to a kind of practical answer, to be honest, and can kind of cut through the noise.
Yeah.
And I suppose the people that I really look up to are the people who do that really well and really quickly.
In terms of becoming a lawyer at a corporate firm,
yes,
is it a prerequisite to travel?
It really, really depends. I mean, one of the great things about coming and joining a firm like this one is you can pretty much still do what you want, within the bounds of kind of corporate law. Like, we have several different departments, and within those departments they do lots and lots and lots of different things. Some of those will necessarily involve travel. If you work in the project finance team, for example, you'll be working on massive infrastructure projects all around the world.
So it's building a bridge somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's probably quite likely at some point you're going to have to do a bit of travel. Similarly, in our disputes practice, we do lots of international disputes. So it's quite likely that at some point you're going to have to go and do a witness interview somewhere, for example. Yeah. I've been really lucky in my career. I love traveling. I love living in different places. It's something that really attracted me to coming and doing this job in particular.
Yeah.
During my training contract, I spent 6 months in our Moscow office and 6 months in our Sao Paulo office.
Wow.
Both of which were awesome, totally different working environments, really different jobs. I loved them both. And since then, I spent a few months working for a client in Switzerland as well. I'm shortly going to be off to our Paris office for a while. So if you're interested in doing that sort of thing, those opportunities definitely are there and they're definitely available for you. You just kind of have to shout up. Similarly, if you're pretty set that you want to be a London-based lawyer and this is what you want to do, lots and lots of people do that as well.
How often do you get a good night's sleep?
I try and get a good night's sleep Monday through Friday.
How long is a good night's sleep? What do you, if you wake up and you're like, oh, that was a pretty decent night's sleep.
I'd say that I sleep like 7 hours most
Right,
days.
okay.
I'm getting old now, so I've given up. I've given up drinking caffeine in the afternoons.
Right, okay.
I probably don't sleep as much as I should, but that's
But I mean,
by
certainly
choice
you hear
rather
about
than-
other people in the legal profession or in other firms or maybe other jobs sort of getting 4 or 5 hours sleep a night on a regular basis during the week.
Yeah. I think it definitely does happen. It does happen, and I think it would be wrong to sit and say that it doesn't. I think I've had to do 2 all-nighters in my career. When I was a trainee, I did a few late nights and I worked some antisocial hours. Broadly speaking, for me, hours hasn't been a kind of a huge issue. But as I say, it's a hard job. It is demanding. Clients are demanding, and it kind of comes with the territory that once in a while, you probably are going to have to make sacrifices.